Welcome back to I'm Out Traveling. My name is Raul, and on today's video we are talking about the GoPro 10 and the leaks that have been surfacing the internet. As most of you have already seen, there have been a lot of leaks on the internet, a lot of big ones. So today we're going to talk about those leaks, my personal opinion on whether or not the GoPro 10 is even worth you spending the money on. And also, we're gonna go over a couple things coming up in the channel in the next couple weeks, couple months related to the GoPro 10 giveaway, the specs and the accessories out for the GoPro 10. So stick around. Like last year, you can expect the same quality content from this channel. And the very first day the GoPro comes out, the first hour, I will be out there buying a few of them, one for me and two for two lucky subscribers, so stay tuned. Now let's go over the leaks on the GoPro 10, starting with the outer shell. First of all, there was a lot of speculations on whether it would be called the GoPro 10 or the GoPro X. It looks like they stuck with the GoPro 10, which is fine in my opinion. Now looking at the front of the camera, starting with the front facing screen, it looks like they still kept it, which is smart. Had they removed it, that would have been a backwards move on GoPro, so I'm glad they stuck with it. The lens, I would assume it is a removable lens. You can't really tell from this picture, but it only makes sense since they're starting to add mods like the max lens mod. In regards to the actual design of the camera, it looks like all they did was really change the lettering from GoPro in black to blue. So not really much there. Now onto the back of the GoPro. The expectation, or I guess the wish list for most people, was to have a large touchscreen, but from the looks of it, they didn't change the screen regarding the size of it, unless the actual GoPro itself got larger or smaller, which we really can't tell from these images. So that's something that we'll keep you posted on the next video. Overall, the design of the GoPro hasn't really changed much, which in my opinion is actually a good thing, because look, I have this media mod. Had they changed the size of the GoPro or changed the actual form of it, this would have been useless. It would have been a waste of money. So the fact that GoPro is starting to sell these accessories that are pretty expensive, it only makes sense for them to change the actual form of the GoPro like once every 2 or 3 years. So for now, I don't anticipate the GoPro changing to maybe even the GoPro 12. I would hope so. I would be actually happy if the GoPro 11 stays the same size. And yes, I know we're talking about the 11 when the GoPro 10 isn't even out yet, but just thinking about this came out on the 9, 10, 11, 3 generations worth of a media mod. I'll be okay with that. Now onto the specs from the packaging. Starting out with the front part of the box, you're gonna see that there's a GP2, which is a significant upgrade from the GP1, which if I'm not mistaken, came out with a GoPro 6. So it's been about 4 generations since the GP1 to GP2. And this is probably the biggest upgrade for the GoPro itself. With this new chip, it should drastically improve the touchscreen sensitivity that we've been having issues with for the last year with the GoPro 9. On top of that, it's gonna open up the door to higher resolutions and better frame rates. With that being said, naturally, with the GP2 upgrade, you're gonna see a higher megapixel count, going from the 20 megapixel count on this GoPro 9 now to a 23 megapixel count on a GoPro 10. So that's a pretty significant upgrade as well, but obviously it's because of the GP2. Looking at the right side of the box, you're gonna see that it comes with a standard GoPro accessory starter kit, so nothing special on that side. Looking at the left side of the box, you're gonna see a big 4. That means Hypersmooth 4.0 is here, but the GoPro 9 had Hypersmooth 3.0, and to me, this was as good as it gets, so I'm not sure how much better it's gonna get, but I'm okay with that. Now, if you're looking at the frame rates and the resolution count, you're gonna see that now the GoPro 10 is gonna feature a 5.3 60 frames per second. Now that's a great thing, because right now you have an action camera. When you have an action camera, you're gonna be shooting a lot of fast moving objects. So naturally you wanna shoot at a higher frame rate, 60 or 120. With that being said, a 5.3 resolution at 60 frames per second to me is just as good as it can get. If you wanna shoot slow motion, now you can shoot a 120 frame per second at a 4K resolution. And if you want even more slow motion on top of that for 240 frames per second, you could switch down to a 2.7, but I'm not, you know, to be honest with you, I wouldn't even go anything less than 4K. So if it was up to me and I would suggest anything to you guys, I would tell you just keep it at 4K 120 or at least 5.3 to 60 frames for your action camera shots. The rest of the stuff on the left side of the box is just pretty much a carryover from the GoPro 9, maybe slightly higher modifications on certain things, but nothing to brag about. So yes, there have been some upgrades, but the question remains, should you buy this new GoPro 10? Well, it all depends on 2 things. Number 1, do you have a GoPro or an action camera? If not, then definitely buy the GoPro 10, because you always want the latest and greatest. If you do and budget is not an issue, then yes, also buy the GoPro 10. If budget is an issue and you don't want to spend that kind of money on a new GoPro, then I would recommend to you 2 GoPros, the GoPro 7 or the GoPro 9. With the GoPro 7, they introduced Hypersmooth 1.0 and GoPro 9 has Hypersmooth 3.0. Those by far are the 2 best GoPros ever released to date. So if budget is an issue, then definitely buy the 7 or the 9 and save yourself money. The second thing would be, if you do have a GoPro 9, then honestly, If you're not an avid user of GoPro, you use it maybe 2 or 3 times a year, then I would say do not buy the GoPro 10. The upgrades, while they are significant, they're not significant enough for you to actually go and spend another $400 or $500 on a GoPro. So I would say to you, stick with your GoPro 9. Now, if you use your GoPro a lot, at least 2 or 3 times a month, then I would say yes, definitely get the new GoPro 10. But if you don't, then just stick with the 9. If I wasn't a travel YouTuber that uses my GoPro all the time, then I would probably hold off on buying the 10. Also, if I wasn't a YouTuber that reviews GoPros, then I would probably hold off on buying the 10. But because I travel all the time and I create content for YouTube, and I also review GoPro drones and whatever it is, then naturally I had to always buy the latest and greatest. But if I was just an average consumer, I would say skip a generation. Prior to YouTube, I would always skip a generation with GoPro, with the iPhones, just because there's not a need to always buy the next one every year. You're really spending money on slight upgrades, but if you wait a year in between, the upgrades will be significant enough for you to spend the money. Keep in mind, these are just leaked images. Things could still change. In regards to the price and release date, as normal, they're going to release it sometime in September or October, and the price should range between $400 and $500. I would anticipate $450, but that's just going off of what they've previously done in other years. I would hope that it comes out by mid-September, but regardless of that, whenever it comes out, I will be there day one getting it and also reviewing it and posting the video up the same day on YouTube. So definitely stay tuned. Hopefully this video has been helpful, guys. Do me a favor, hit subscribe, like, and ring that bell to stay up to date with all our videos, and I'll see you on the next one.